very impressed thus far with the FSD beta. With that said, I think it's a mistake for Tesla to increase the price right now because FSD is not available to the public yet, so we shouldn't have to pay more.
Okay, yeah, so let's talk about that. Now, what I so poorly did, and I apologize, Darren, and I apologize to all my guests that come on in the future and past guests. I don't introduce you guys properly enough. Darren is the writer, co-founder, whatever you want to say. He is the man behind Drive Tesla Canada, and that's where there's this article, and I think all the articles have come from, and many of our articles in the previous episodes have come from. Yeah, you can go to electric, you could go to inside EVs, but Drive Tesla Canada, don't let the term or the word Canada fool you to think that it's only Canada. He does concentrate on Canada, but he does all the news in Tesla and EVs. So check out the website if you get a chance, if you haven't. But anyways, that's where this article comes from tonight. And as we move on to our first one, like Franklin alluded to, Tesla increases the price of full self-driving package as promised. Now, you want to give us a little bit of background, one of you guys, of why this came to be and how it came to be?
Sure, I can do that. So when the beta software was released last week, I forget exactly how long, but it seemed like within hours of the first few people getting it, Elon came on Twitter and said, okay, now that it's released, we're going to be increasing the price on Monday. So that was on, I guess, Wednesday or Thursday. So like 3 or 4 days later, it was going to be increasing $2,000 US, he said. Yeah. And then got a bunch of feedback on Twitter saying, why are you doing this so quickly? Usually you give like at least a month's notice. And then the other big piece of feedback was, if FSD is only available in the US, why is the price going to increase everywhere? So he, as he's known to do, he listened to that feedback and first pushed the price increase back like 3 days to today, and then also only made it applicable to owners in the US. So
that was fair, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fair. And also said that as soon as FSD gets released in other markets, there's a 1 week clock that starts, and 1 week after it gets released, the price is going up in those markets too. So,
yeah. So what's your take on the price? You think it's fair, or you think it's getting priced out of the hands of normal people?
It's getting to that point where it's getting a little too pricey, I think, for most. But at the same time, I think this price increase is a little too soon. The beta software is probably out on maybe 100 vehicles, maybe a few more. That doesn't really... I would be upset if I was in the US and wasn't part of the beta testing, and all of a sudden the price has gone up when it's limited to so few people. So I think the price increase probably could have waited until the public release, whenever that happens to be, hopefully before the end of the year. I thought it was a little too soon.
Yeah, well, and that's what this topic is really two-stage, I think. One is the timing. Well, no, first of all, let's go even further back. One is the price itself. And that is a separate discussion in itself that we can have, and we should have, or we probably will have. And then, like Darren's saying, the other is the timing. And if he gave us or our US folks enough notice, and is a week enough? I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, you bring up some good points there, and it's like, Darren, it's only a handful of people have it, but I'm going to have to pay $2,000 more than I did last week. Now, keep in mind, and you mentioned this right in your article as I'm talking, I see it. We've had FSD here in Canada, and with the exchange and everything. We've had it for over 10 grand for a while now. with ours, it's $10,600 plus taxes here in Canada. So when we finally do get it, and it gets the equivalent 2,000 US increase like our friends in the States have today, it's going to go up to more than $13,000. What do you think about that, Franklin?
I think the price is too low.
I mean,
So
if anyone doesn't know Franklin's take on this, if they're new to the podcast, yeah, Franklin is a very positive believer.
Okay, look at it a couple of different ways, all right? So, Dax, how much you pay for your FSD?
See, but that doesn't count.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. You got the special. Darren, how much do you pay for your FSD?
It was before the last price increase, so what was that? 9,200, I think.
Okay, so at that price, do you feel like you got proper value for what you paid?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay, and even if your answer was no, within the next year or 2 years, your value is going to increase, right? So the price that I paid at the time, I thought it was high because if you include enhanced autopilot plus the discounted thing, I still spent $8,000 in total, $7,000, $8,000. And at the time, there was no navigation on autopilot. There was no smart summon. There was no stoplights and streetlights, right? So at the time, it was high. But I feel like over the last 2.5 years of ownership, I've gotten the value out of what I've paid, right? You have to remember, it's not stagnant. You're not paying for something that's staying the same. You're paying for something that's continuously improving. Ours obviously included the hardware upgrade for Dax and myself, right? But the value of what you're getting continuously improves, right? So I think that's something key that most people are missing out. And our buddy Mark, who's in the chat as well, he said it for a while that not everyone has to own FSD, right? With the way Tesla's pricing it now, I'm sure that's going to affect the number of people who are buying it, and Tesla's probably aware of that. But you got to think long term for Tesla. It makes more sense for them to price it higher because of the amount of money they will make back from a robo-taxi fleet. You got to look at it from a perspective as a business rather than just a consumer, right? That's my perspective.
Yeah. No, you always bring up valid and interesting points when you talk about FSD and you explain the value and why you think it is worth what it is.